Well, good morning. I've come down to the Gupton wetlands in Kingston, Tennessee this morning to do some bird photography, and I brought my D500 with the 500 PF lens on it. Today, I'm using my iPhone 13 Pro to vlog with, and I've got my Rode wireless Go-To microphone set up on it. This is the parking area down here at the wetlands. We're going to walk out on this path and see if we see any birds out here today. Today's November the 24th. It's the day after Thanksgiving of 2023. So I'm not too sure what we're going to see today. But it does look like they made some improvements down here. What I noticed is over here in the parking lot, they placed a bunch of rocks. And I imagine that's to keep people from driving down here. I'm sure that's probably happened before. And I noticed there's some more rocks down here and maybe some additional improvements. And we'll see that in just a second. It's a beautiful sunrise this morning. A little bit cloudy out, which is good for me. Anyways, this wetlands was created several years ago after a disaster down here, and it's matured really well. They've dropped the lake levels down for the winter, so it's got a lot of mud flats. And I hear Canadian geese over there. Anyways, we're going to go down here and go to the wetlands area that I normally go to. So one of the improvements I see right away is this concrete crossing. That wasn't here last time I was here. It was more of a dirt, kind of muddy crossing, and they've added a lot of rock here. Yeah, this is a nice improvement. Hats off to the TVA for doing that. As you can see, there's a lot of exposed area out here where birds could perch at. So we're going to walk out here a little bit further. So far, been hearing some song sparrows, white-throated sparrows, and the Canadian geese, of course. That's all I've heard so far, but we're just getting ready to start down the main path where I like to go. And I like to go down this path about a half a mile or so, get down in the wetlands. I hear that song sparrow. It's just after sunrise, so I'm hoping for a little bit better lighting conditions in a little bit. Sometimes you see some deer down here if you pay attention. Well, as I suspected, I just jumped, I believe, 3 deer right down here. And they flagged me and took off, so I didn't get a chance to get a look at them. Anyways, look at that sky this morning. Isn't it beautiful? There goes a baby right there. Just sitting there watching me. I just love to see white-tailed deer. It doesn't matter if it's a buck or a doe or a baby. I got several behind my house that I photograph from time to time when they come out in the field. So I'm really excited when I see one. Today I saw 3. We're making our way down the path to the end of this walkway where I like to set up at. So I came down the path a pretty good distance, and I already see some ducks out on the pond. I'm not too sure what kind they are. I can't hardly see them from here. I'll turn this camera around so you can see. They're right out there, just on the edge of that algae area. I think I'm going to set my tripod up right here and get the camera out and make some photographs of them. So I'm going to set up right here. With my tripod. Go ahead and get my camera out. So I'm going to set the camera at 1/800th of a second because the ISO is kind of high this morning. Take my glasses off. I'm going to drop it down a little bit more. Try to get this ISO more manageable. There's several ducks out there. I'm not up on my ducks, so I don't know what kind of ducks I'm looking at. Yeah. See quite a few songbirds around. Well, I'm gonna make my way further back down this path and see if there's anything back in the back here. So far, I heard a whole bunch of birds. Some of the ducks just got up and took off. So I'm gonna go down here to the end of this pathway where I've seen some big birds before. They might have all migrated out of the area by now. Sun's not quite up yet, so I'm hoping the lighting will improve so I can get my ISO dropped down. Well, one thing you don't want to do when you come out to do bird photography is leave your binoculars at the house. That's what I have done this morning, so it's hard for me to do any spotting. But it probably doesn't matter too much because I'm not seeing a lot of birds this morning. I can hear some, mostly red-winged blackbirds and some sparrows, maybe a Carolina wren and a blue jay every once in a while. But I've moved on down to the end of the path and set up at a location, and I'm just going to stand real still and see if anything comes close by where I can get a photograph. I would be happy just to come out with one good bird photograph today. There's some bluebirds up in that tree there, and I think there was a flicker in there I got a photograph of. But anyway, sometimes I like to shoot through these other tree branches that are closer to me to the one in the background, and it kind of gives you a different look. And I'm going to show you a photograph in the video right now of one I just did of a bluebird. So now that the sun is starting to come up a little bit, as you can see behind me, the activity is increasing. And this is pretty typical. This is what I found out a few weeks ago when I did a video of bird photography closer to home. Right after the sun came up for about 15 minutes, the birds were real active. So I think that's the key, is to get out here right at sunrise and hang around for a little bit and see. I think they're waking up and trying to get something to eat for breakfast. That's really what I should have done this morning, got me a little breakfast. So I just seen several northern flickers, and I seen them. They float from this tree over here back over to this tree over here. So I'm waiting for them to decide where they're going to land so I can take their portrait. Anyways, if I got any good northern flicker photographs, I'll show those in the video now. Well, I stepped off the path here between some trees, and that tree right there, that one right there, has got a lot of activity in it. I've seen some bluebirds and some birds I could not identify without marlin. And I also see one out there on the cattails, so I got a photograph of. And if it turned out anything, I'll show that in the video now. There's a lot of bird activity down here this morning. Well, I had a lot of activity for quite a few minutes in that tree right there, and then some kind of sparrow or something landed down on those cattails, whatever you call them. And I did make a photograph of it, and I'll show that in the video now. I think most of the activity up here in this tree was bluebirds. There was a bunch of them. There's still some around. I was hoping they'd come a little bit closer so I could get a better photograph of them. They're pretty far away. It'd be a pretty heavy crop. There's just a ton of activity down here. So far, I've been using marlin to help identify some of these sounds that I'm hearing. I took my camera off the tripod because down this path, I've been hearing a lot of birds down here, and I thought I'd come and investigate without the tripod. There goes a bluebird. So I'm just gonna kind of still walk down through here, see what I can see. There's one out there in the cattails. I found that birds react to movement, so if you're kind of still, they don't seem to notice you as much. Camo, from what I hear, does not help. Camo's to keep you from being seen by other humans, kind of coming down to see what you're doing so they can take a cell phone picture. Anyways, we're going to walk on down here a little bit further. I've seen a few things flying around. Just going to stand still here for a minute. Here's song sparrows. Yeah, I see one in the bush right there. It's kind of hidden behind the branches. Someone just right there. Not a very good shot of a sparrow through the grasses. I'll show that in the video now. I think I'll move down the path a little bit further. I see some birds over here. Or another bluebird. Goldfinches. That's what I'm seeing, is goldfinches.
Again.
I'll walk back here. And so I've seen a lot of different birds today, and I'll show what I got in the video. Hope you enjoyed that, and thanks for coming along today. This is Ron Durant. I'm a photographer in East Tennessee. Bye-bye now.